On 18 May 2023, the Commission sent you a request for the submission of the 5-year declaration of assets and personal interests, and on the 25th of May, you submitted your declaration. The Commission also asked candidates to voluntarily complete and submit an ethics questionnaire, and you did so on the 31st of May. The Commission sent you 5 rounds of questions on 9 June, 20 June, 30 June, 7 July and 11 July, respectively. You were asked a total number of 34 questions, including 116 subparts, and 48 of the questions included a request for further documentation. According to Article 3, Paragraph 4 of the evaluation rules of the Commission, a candidate may not provide information, documents or other materials during the hearing if the Commission requested these earlier and the candidate did not provide them within the time specified, unless the candidate provides sufficient justification. Members of the Commission will now start with asking you questions, and Nadezhda Rybczewski will start with asking questions first. We will try to keep our questions short and to the point, and we ask that your answers be short and to the point as well. Nadezhda, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bună ziua, domnul Agachi.
Greetings, Mr. Agachi. You received the facts, you have them in front of you? Yes, exactly. Now we will start discussing issue number 1. I will first read the facts and then we will move to questions. The first issue is about source of funds for a land plot and a house of the candidate's mother. Goods that are currently used by you and your family. According to e-cadastre information, your mother owns 2 properties in a commune in Chișinău municipality, namely a plot of 0.043 hectares acquired via sale purchase contract on 19th of December 2017, and the house, 70.5 square meters, registered on the final reception report on 25th of February 2020. According to information from Access Web, and that you confirm, you and your wife have registered your residence at that address since 9th of December 2022. In the 5-year declaration that you submitted to the Commission, you stated that you use de facto the 2 properties owned by your mother. And that is mentioned in your declaration. The land plot purchased in 2017 for 80,487 lei, and the house with a value of 506,543 lei, that is around 25,000 euros, and the land plot around 3,800 euros. In the written communication with the Commission, explained that the de facto use of your mother's property is based on a verbal permission that your mother issued. When the Commission asked about if you can explain that amount of 506,543 lei, you explained that this amount is the evaluation that was carried out by the Public Services Agency, because it has the competence of evaluating real estate, and also the investments that were made in the construction of a house. According to information from the State Tax Service, your mother had a total gross income of 19,000 lei in the period 2008 to 2010. During 2011 to 2022, she had no registered income in Moldova. You were asked by the Commission about the source of funds for your mother to purchase these 2 properties. And then you replied that that was from your mother's savings. In the second round of questions, you explained that the source of funds for purchasing the land plot in 2017 were your mother's savings that were accumulated by her personally, consisting of her personal income and the help provided by me and my brother over the years. Regarding the cost of a house, you declared that the construction of the house was carried out from my mother's own funds and from the amounts that provided as support by me and my brother to my mother. In my relations with my mother, I have never drawn up any records regarding the support that I provided, in which way and its size. Also, I would like to point out that a record of expenses incurred does not exist for certain reason, namely the lack of the need to keep such records. In your declaration for 2019 that you filed with the Commission, you declared cash savings in the amount of 1,167,263 lei, that is about 59,000 euros. Subsequently, in the answer to the first round of questions, you asked for this amount to be corrected to 1,163,955 lei. Also, you stated that the cash savings, this amount, the savings were spent entirely in 2020 for family needs and to help your mother renovate her house. In the third round of questions, you were asked to estimate the part from that amount, 1,163,955 lei, that you spent for renovating your mother's house. And you were asked to explain what kind of renovation was done. You replied the following: given that some time has passed and that family relations do not fall under the certification of any supporting documents, it is difficult to estimate the precise amount that was offered. These are the facts, and now we will move to some clarification or confirmation questions, and then you will have opportunity to add what you believe appropriate. Please confirm that your mother owns 2 real estate properties, a land plot of 0.043 hectares and a 70.5 square meters house. The land plot was purchased in December 2017, and the house, the final reception report is of 25th of February 2020. Exactly. Please confirm that you and your wife have your residence registered at that address since November 2022. Yes. Please confirm that your mother granted you verbally the right to use for free her property. Exactly. Both house and land plot? Yes. Please confirm that between 2008 and 2010, your mother's gross income was 19,000 lei. It's hard to give an answer to that question because I have never asked what was the income of my mother and where she got it from.
Please confirm that your mother didn't have an income over 2008-2022. I cannot confirm that because 2011-2022. I understood. I cannot confirm this because I didn't have a discussion with my mother regarding that matter. In your written answers, and the written correspondence, we provided you that information. It's not like you don't see this for the first time, but so far you did not show us some information about other income of your mother that the Commission wouldn't be aware of. You sent nothing to the Commission. I did not. Thank you. Please confirm that the plot of land your mother bought in 2017 cost 80,487 lei. Yes. Please confirm that the cost of your mother's house was 506,543 lei, that is about 25,660 euros. Well, a confirmation in this regard is public, made by the cadastre. It did not depend on my decision. It was not up to me. It was not up to my mother's decision when it came to establishing the value of the house. So that's a valuation carried out legally by the cadastre authority. As for the expenses themselves, the expenses could have been smaller. That's all I can say. Please confirm that you told the Commission in writing, you've answered it in writing, and you said that the amount of 506,000 lei represented the valuation carried out by the Public Services Agency according to the provisions of the law in force at the time of registering the property, and also represents the investments made in the construction of the house. Is that correct? A part of that, yes. Can you explain what exactly does your answer mean? What exactly do you mean that this total amount that was spent, was spent by your mother, or was it only that that's the established value? That's as per the valuation carried out by the cadastre. To bring more clarity into this matter, I would like to highlight that indeed I did not have the need to calculate, to make these precise calculations regarding renovation, how much was spent. There were a number of circumstances that gave us the possibility to do it like that. For instance, the parents of my wife were covered a big part of the renovation, and obviously that was, as you can see, that was free of charge, and some construction materials were practically purchased as much as possible, well, at as small price as possible. So that's I myself, even I don't know for certain with high precision what were the expenses incurred for the renovation, because I did not keep such close records of that. My mother was dealing with that. Such a need did not emerge. But you declared that you helped your mother. Yes, and you have no idea whatsoever how much was spent and when the money was spent for building the house. There was before it was made habitable or declared habitable. So I helped as much as I could, because the situation wasn't that good, so to speak, financially on the one hand, but then again, we did have some money, considering what also happened after 2020 included, with the pandemic and everything going on. So I did not spend the 1,600,000 lei. It was not spent for the renovation of the house, but just a part of that. We'll go back to that. Right now we are speaking about the house only. So we may suppose that there were some costs incurred for the painting, not only for building the walls themselves. So you have no idea how much was spent for that? It might sound somewhat, well, it might not be very convincing, but that's true. And as for the renovation and all that, and the furniture there, did you invest that or did your mother? So the mother invested, the brother also, and I partially invested. We all made investments. Why would the brother make any investments in this house? Come again? Why would your brother invest funds in this house where you live? The reason is very simple. We usually help one another. We support one another. When one is in need, we give a hand. So in total, at least according to the data that you provided so far, your mother spent at least, between 2017 and 2020, spent at least 580,000 lei. Is that correct? And that compared to her income, the only income that the Commission is aware of between 2008 and 2022 was 19,000 lei. So the costs of the house and the land plot are about at least 30 times her income. Is that correct? Correct. And as for the rest, the 19,000, as in all the income was spent for the house, and the other 560,000 lei, was it something that you and your brother then covered if she spent the 19,000 income that she's earned and the rest? I'm not sure that's quite the right way to put it, for the simple reason, and I will go back to answer this to a question that sounds a little bit evasive, but it's the reality. I cannot tell you what is the precise amount that I or my brother spent for this. I don't have such a figure because I've never calculated it. But is it correct, is it right to assume at least that it was not possible for your mother to pay for all of that, and therefore all of the expenses were in fact covered by you and your brother? Is that correct? No, not quite. So it's 500,000 lei for my mother, who's retired. This, I think she could have accumulated that amount throughout her entire life, the 500,000. But you did not provide us any information as to what is the amount of your mother's pension. Because my mother's money funds, they were not official. And therefore, as I didn't have an official confirmation of her income and accumulations, I was not able to provide anything to you. Understood. But can you confirm that in writing you communicated the Commission that your mother paid for that land plot out of her own pocket, and those funds were from her own income and the support provided by you and the brother over the years? Is that correct? Yes. Now, going back to the amount that you've already also mentioned in your answer to a first round question number 1, you can have a look at that. You maintain that the amount of 1,163,955 lei, which you earned as a compensation in that related to the criminal case, that was spent entirely, according to your accounts, for family needs and in order to help your mother renovate the house. That's what you wrote, because that was quote unquote. It's from you that we received this information. Please confirm that in your declaration that you submitted to the Commission for 2019, you declared cash savings in the amount of 1,167,263 lei, and later you asked us to correct that, to adjust that to 1,163,955 lei when asked about it in the first round of questions. Is that correct? Yes. Can you explain when exactly did you receive that amount of 1,163,955? Was it the decision of the Court of Appeal dates back to 2018? Yes, that decision was enforced as established. I did not manage to... Well, I did not keep that receipt from the bank where I cashed these amounts out, so I cannot say. But was it in 2018 or 2019, the latest? Is that correct? So you couldn't have received it in 2020. I can't remember. I don't remember. I can't remember with precision when that happened. And you've already, and that was cash, you cashed out 1,163,000? Yes. And when you received it, once you received it, did you do anything with the money? Did you put it away on a bank account or anyway, and to keep it anywhere? Did you always keep it in cash? Yes, I kept it in cash. I did not deposit anywhere. Thank you. Can you confirm that when you were asked to estimate how much of the 1,163,955 lei, how much of that was spent for the renovation of your mother's house, and what kind of renovation works were performed, your answer was that, quote unquote, given that some time has passed and the fact that family relations do not fall under the certification of any supporting documentation, it is difficult to estimate the exact amount awarded. That's right. So you never informed the Commission about the approximate costs of the house related to the house, and neither how much you invested nor how much your brother invested, also nothing with regards to how much your mother invested. I did not. All right, is there anything that you would like to add to this issue? No, nothing to add. Thank you. Then we will move on to the second issue. The second issue has to do with the sources of funds for granting 2 loans to a private company by you and your wife in 2021. According to the information that you provided, by decision of the Chisinau Court of Appeal of 31 May 2018, you were awarded 1,163,955 lei, approximately 59,000 euros, from the state budget as compensation for damage caused by the illegal actions of criminal prosecution bodies, the prosecutor's office, and the courts. And in your declaration for 2019, submitted to the Commission, you declared cash savings of 1,167,263 lei at the end of 2019. As I previously mentioned, and in your answer to the first round of questions, you stated that the amount of your savings in 2019 had to be adjusted down to 1,163,955 lei. Asked if that amount was all spent entirely in 2020 or whether you had any cash savings at the end of 2020, your answer was that, quote unquote, the amount of 1,163,955 lei was spent entirely. But there was no supporting documentation. It was not possible to provide supporting documentation because such documentation was not retained, as it was not deemed necessary at that time. And you also explained that that amount was spent on family needs and to help your mother renovate her house. However, you maintained that it was not possible to provide supporting documentation because they were not saved, since it was not necessary. They were not needed at that time. In the third round of questions, you were asked to explain whether you made any loans from your savings of 1,163,955 lei, or you were asked whether you made any other payments, investments, purchases using that amount. Your answer was, quote-unquote, out of the amount of 1,163,955 lei, I did not use any amount of mine as loan or investment. I am convinced that the aid granted represents a donation in the absence of supporting documentation. Also, later on, in that same round of questions, you were asked to explain if there were any economic relations between you or your family members and a private company, we'll call it NMC without saying the full name, or if you had entered into any contracts, loans, donation, investment, lease contracts with that company, and you were asked to provide supporting documentation in that regard. Your answer was that there were no economic relations with that company except for the acquisition of ferrous and non-ferrous metal waste by your sibling. In the fourth round of questions, the Commission informed you that it had information according to which you, your wife, and your sibling each granted loans in 2021 to the aforementioned company. According to open sources, the founder and administrator of that company, as well as 6 other people, were investigated for money laundering, and the criminal case was pending before the first instance court since 2022. As regards the loans that you and your wife made to the NMC company, the total amount was 1,914,000 lei. That is about 91,000 euros in 2021. And your sibling made a cash loan of 970,000 lei in that same year to that same company. And all these 3 loans were repaid by the NMC in 2022. The Commission provided you with the information and the dates and the amount of the payments because they were made in installments. You were asked about whether you disagreed with that information, and you were invited to provide the information, the amounts that you believed were correct. In your answer, you said that the information corresponded to reality. Asked about the purpose of those cash loans made by you, your wife, and your brother in 2021, you answered that, quote-unquote, according to the legal documents concluded, it is noted that the parties agreed to their conclusion in strict accordance with the current legislation in force. However, although you were asked by the Commission to provide the agreements, you did not provide any copies of the loan agreements because you said you did not keep any such documentation. You also did not declare the 2 loans that you provided or that your wife provided in your declarations for 2021 and 2022 that you submitted to the Commission. So, to summarize, you did not declare these loans in the 5-year declaration you submitted to the Commission, section number 10. In the third round of questions, you were asked if you or the members of your family and the NMC company had any financial connections, economic relations whatsoever, whether you had entered into any contract agreement with that company, and your answer was that there was no financial economic relations with that company except for the act of acquisition of ferrous and non-ferrous metal waste issued to your sibling. In the same round of questions, you were asked whether you gave any loans, made any other payments or investments from the amount of 1,163,955 lei that you received as material and moral damages from the state. You confirmed that you did not and that the funds were fully spent on family needs and on renovating your mother's house back in 2020. On the other hand, in the fourth round of questions, you confirmed the information provided by the Commission that you and your wife made cash loans to the NMC company, the total amount of 1,914,000 lei, and that your brother gave a loan in the amount of 970,000 lei in 2021, and you confirmed that that information was correct. The loans were repaid to you in 2022. You did not explain the purpose of the 3 loans, and you did not provide the Commission a copy of the loan agreements because you said that you did not keep them. Now I will start asking some questions. Please confirm that you were awarded 1,163,955 lei. Yes. As an answer to the first question, please confirm that you said the following, that amount of 1,163,955 lei was spent entirely in 2020, but that you did not keep any supporting document to present to the Commission. I cannot confirm that in 2020 the entire amount was spent. I'm not asking you to confirm that, but to confirm that in your answer you said that. Yes, that was an omission on my behalf. That's exactly what you said, didn't you? Yes, I did. Can you confirm that in 2021 you and your wife gave NMC as a loan 1,914,000 lei? I confirm, yes, but since there is a legal document certifying that circumstance, that is enough. Please explain what was the purpose of those loans. What was the money to be spent for? Well, to be brief, the purpose of the loan is reflected in the loan agreement very clearly. There's a loan agreement. There are no other purposes than those that are set out in the loan agreement. But you did not provide a loan agreement exactly because I didn't keep them. And so, but do you remember what the purpose was in the loan agreement? But it cannot be a loan agreement with other purposes than those that were there. But what was it for? What was the company going to do it? But it was for the needs the company had. Can you confirm that you provided those loans in cash? Yes. Why did you give those loans in cash? Well, the law did not prohibit to give loans in cash. No, it doesn't prohibit, but I had the money, I kept the money in cash. How were the 2 loans repaid to you and to your wife? In installments, gradually. Was it also cash? Yes, cash. No transfer, no bank transfer? At least not to my knowledge. I have no knowledge of a bank transfer. If there's one, then maybe. Can you explain why you did not these 2 loans in the declarations that you submitted for 2021 and 2022? You submitted to the Commission? It's very simple. It was an accident or it was an inadvertent omission. Can you explain why in the 3rd round of questions, when the Commission asked you about whether you gave any loans from that amount of 1,163,000, or whether you made any other payments, investments, acquisitions, I forgot. I forgot about the transaction, and for that reason I did not declare. Can you explain then why, when the Commission asked you about whether there was any economic relation between you, your family members, and the NMC company, when you were asked about it, or if you had any agreements with the company, your answer was that there was no economic relation with the company except for that one transaction where your brother was concerned that you referred to? Well, it's the same answer. At the time, I mean, indeed, then I received your information, so then I thought, let me look at it, and then I realized that, yes, it's indeed like that. Please confirm that when the company provided you, when the commission provided you information of the 3 loans provided by you, your wife and your sibling to the NMC company, when the commission presented you with that information, so a million, almost 2 million from you and almost 1 million from your brother as a loan granted, you said that that was true and you confirmed this now again? Yes, that is correct. Can you explain why was it only in the 4th round of questions that you acknowledged those loans? Well, as I wrote, it was an omission out of lack of information because I forgot about it. Just forgot about it. I forgot to mention it. But I had the certainty that all the things that I did, those officials at least, are available to be looked at. Can you confirm that neither you nor your brother or your wife, that none of the 3 of you have a copy of those agreements? I don't have one, and my wife at least doesn't have one either. Thank you. There's a continuation of this matter, and then at the end you will be able to provide some additional information if you will want to. When asked about the source of funds, so that you and your wife could provide those 2 loans in 2021 to the NMC company, your answer was that the source was savings accumulated over the years. Exactly. In the 5th round of questions, the Commission asked you about an income expenses imbalance for your family for 2020. And it is based on the information available to the Commission. So on the basis of the information available to the Commission, in 2020, you had a higher outgoing cash flow. Your outflow was by 4,500 lei more than the incoming cash flow. And you said that over 2020-2022, over that period, there was no need to keep track of expenses incurred. However, you also said that I would like to reiterate that the amount of 1,163,955 lei deducted as expenses for the construction of the mother's house and for other family needs covers, in fact, the period of 2019-2023, which also includes the loan granted in 2021. Therefore, the calculation made of expenses for 2020 in the amount of 1,473,523 lei does not correspond to reality, as the statement regarding the incurrence of expenses of the amount of 1,163,955 lei for 2020 entirely is wrong, as I omitted to indicate exactly the amount of cash I held during the years 2017, 2022, and what funds were accumulated by the year 2017. Then you also declared that, quote-unquote, for good reasons, errors in declarations have been made, as until now there was neither the need nor the opportunity to keep records of the exact expenses for each year. And during that same round of questions, the Commission provided available information on your income and expenses for 2021, according to which the outflow was by 1 million more compared to incoming cash. So you can see that information down there in the table, so that I don't read out loud those figures. The Commission asked you to say whether you thought any of that information was incorrect, and you were asked to provide the information, the amounts that you thought were correct, to explain also the source of funds used in 2021 to cover the expenses, to explain why your total expenses exceeded your total income and savings by more than 1,700,000 lei. And you said in your answer that the information provided is correct, based on the information held by me. And you also explained that the funds used in 2021 to cover the expenses mentioned above are the accumulations of funds from the work performed both by me and by my wife, and includes the amount of 1,163,955 lei. I would like to specify that the errors I previously made are justified. because due to lack of necessity, I did not record them. I would also like to mention that during her professional work, my wife accumulated funds that were enough to cover the amount that you provided of 949,000 lei. Lastly, regarding the imbalance of 1,787,000 lei, you explained that, quote unquote, according to your calculations, my expenses exceeded my revenues and total savings by 1,787,000 lei, because I did not pay more attention to the submitted declarations and thus having made errors there, errors that are justified by the lack of keeping evidence of the and because of the manner and the basis of calculating the accumulation, declaration, expenses during the years 2018 and 2022. Having the conviction at its stage that the information held is correct, I have thus drawn up those declarations that I submitted. In the fourth round of questions, the Commission asked you to explain why in the third round of questions you answered that you and your family had no financial relations with the NMC company and why there were no agreements whatsoever except for that one transaction where your brother was concerned. And you answered that that was an error, that an error was made because indeed at the time of filling out the declaration I did not remember that. In 2022, in the 2022 annual declaration submitted to the Commission, you did not declare any savings. In the fourth round of questions, you were asked if you spent all the loan money that was repaid back to you of 1,914,000 lei in 2022, and you were asked to provide supporting documentation. And if not, you were asked to explain why you did not declare any savings at the end of 2022. Your answer was that the funds that were returned to you, repaid to you, were used for family purposes and to cover other expenses without drafting and having any supporting documentation for that. And even if there was something that was drawn up, that documentation was not kept because there was no need to keep that documentation. And also you said due to the lack of information, as no information was kept, the funds were not even mentioned in the 2022 annual declaration. That's what you said. Now, please confirm that in your answers to the first round of questions, you answered that the amount of 1,163,955 was spent entirely in 2020, but that you did not keep any supporting documentation to present to the Commission. Did you answer that? Please confirm that in the fifth round of questions, you replied the following. You said the following. The amount of 1,163,955 lei deducted as expenses for the construction of the mother's house and for other needs of the family covers the period between 2019 and 2023, which also includes the loan granted in 2021. Exactly. Can you explain what does this answer mean? And specifically, the amount of 1,163,955 lei, is it the income, what you earned, received as a compensation in relation to the criminal case? Yes. And is it at that time that you said that initially you've spent it all in 2020? Now, are you saying that you did not spend it all entirely? What are you saying? Yes. You did not spend it in 2020. Exactly. 1,163,000, you did not spend it. Exactly.
The loan in 2021, do you qualify it as expenditure or income, the loan that you offered? Legally speaking, it's not an expense. It is an outflow of income of a person. Is it an income? So, I mean, this is not income. These are amounts accumulated by me, but the loan that was given by me is part of the 1,163,000 amount. So, you are saying that in 2020, no, actually no, in 2019 you had 1,163,955 lei. And you are saying that that amount, you had it in 2021, not exactly 1,163,000, but some of it. Yes. How, give or take, how much? At least 1 million that I gave as a loan. In 2021, you gave 1,914,000 lei, together with a wife. Yes, with a wife. 1 million belong to my wife, 1 million to me. My wife's data are reflected very well. Yes, we have her. The income discussed above, it's both yours and your wife's. So in 2020, according to the Commission's calculations, you were almost at the limit. But in 2021, you say that actually out of that 1.9 million was including 1 million since 2020. I'd like to reiterate. I made an omission about expenses in 2020. That omission in the calculation would mean occurrence of unjustified income, like the 1,700,000 that you added, but in reality, because of a lack of need, the 1,163,000, part of it, a small part of it, was spent in 2019 or 2020, I don't remember exactly. But the million, I'm speaking about my own million, like my wife's savings, accumulations are my wife's. Mr. Agachi, let's try to summarize. Today, during the hearing, you said that at least 500,000 was the cost for mother's house, right? You confirmed that today. It was at least that much. So it's either you or together with a brother. It's my mother as well. We cannot push my mother's participation in the house. You did not provide anything about my mother's income. I did not say that I gave 500,000 or 300,000 or 400. That's why I was saying, no, that's why I'm saying I'm not confirming that now either. I mean, that house was not built out of nothing. It cost money. Of course, it was my mother's savings. Who incurred the expenses? Again, to give some certainty. The house, it was built in Bubuyeci during 2017-2020, mainly during that time. The market had prices that were much lower than today. So if we look at the market for construction materials today, for repairs, it's much worse. Could you confirm that in all rounds of questions and the figures that you received about income and expenses you had in 2020 and 2021, you received the two tables in the fifth round. You never contended the figures about income. You only challenged one thing, namely that the amount of a loan offered in 2021 included the 1,163,000. That would mean that all the information that the Commission has about your income and your wife's income is correct, yes. So you did not have other income that the Commission does not know about and the Commission did not consider? Probably not. Also, please confirm that in the fifth round of questions, you declared the following. I omitted to indicate exactly the amount of cash I held during 2017 to 2022 and what funds were accumulated by 2017. You said that, you wrote that. Could you please explain what you wanted to say by that? It's just what I answered. What does that mean? It means that only the answer that I provide. I don't have any other answer but the one that I already gave. But what exactly? Do you want to say that in 2017 you had cash? I want to say, as with respect to my wife, before 2017, I had some activity and had certain amounts saved. I cannot say exactly the amount, but I cannot give a clarification. Could you confirm, or please confirm, that when you applied to become an SCM member, you saw that one of the duties was to fill out the 5 annexes with respect to annual declaration. So you had the obligations to list all the cash that you held as of the end of the year 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, when you filed the declaration. So you understood that you had such an obligation. I understood that I have to disclose correct information. So you did that. We have information about how much you had in cash at the end of 2018 and so on. Yes? Yes. Then how is it relevant what you had before 2017? Because at the end of 2018, you declared how much you had. Let's make things simple. The precise numbers, given the amount of financial resources during my activity, would not mean in itself that they could appear from sources that are different than legal. And secondly, I really forgot. I omitted. Indeed, I don't know how credible is that, but that is the reality. I can't say that. It's exactly what you are saying. We try to have your answer. Sometimes people in writing are not clear enough. That's why we have hearings, to discuss any doubt that may arise. What the Commission did not understand is, what did you mean that you said you had cash by 2017? We try to clarify, because in 2018, you filed the declaration for 2018, and you did not mention anything. You mentioned zero, nothing for the cash. Yes. But now you are saying that actually you had cash. Or you don't imply that. What does your written answer mean about the cash in 2017? It means what I have written, that's all. Please confirm that in all your 5 annual declarations that you filed with the Commission this year, you filed this year for 2018 to 2022, in none of them you declared that you have cash as of the end of the year, except for the declaration for 2019, where you mentioned the 1,167,000. Yes, probably that was an omission. I was not attentive to the requirements written in the declaration. Now, probably the last time I asked about this, you have a possibility to explain. In 3 rounds of questions, you were asked about 1,163,955 from different perspectives. And in 3 rounds of questions, you confirmed that you spent all that amount in 2020. But in the 5th round, you already claimed that 1 million you still had, even in 2021. So could you please explain why? Is this somehow connected, that only as an answer to the Commission's answer, or was that a moment when you recalled that you had the million? When I got the information, I recalled that, and I said, yes, indeed, I did not put that initially because I forgot. I mean, we are speaking of about almost 2 million. Is it easy to forget 2 million? 2 million is a big amount, of course, but I would not say that it's so much that would deserve extremely high level of attention. We're talking about 2021. That's only 2 years ago. Yes, exactly. You did not declare savings for the end of 2022 in the declaration. Yes. And you got a question about that topic, and you confirmed that you did not have cash savings at the end of 2022. Yes. Does that mean that in 2022 you spent at least 1,914,000 lei? Yes, at least that. Did you have any specific expenses in 2022 compared to 2020? We had travels. Much more traveling than before. Yes, exactly. On the average, could you say that your family spends 1-2 million a year? Or if you don't have an estimate, it's okay. The issue is that this was a year with certain expenses. That's all. Obviously, it's not possible to spend these amounts every year. So it was specific, something specific. All these all these travels were the ones that you declared in your 5-year declaration, or are there any others? No, talking about 2022. I'm speaking about travels in 2022. Yes, but the declarations you filed include 2022, and there you had the obligation to list your trips. And I'm asking, are you speaking about the trips you mentioned there, nothing additional? Maybe you forgot something. I think that no. Do you have a declaration on you? Well, that's not that important. In the end, I understand that this information is easy for you to access, to check if that's true or not. Okay, do you have anything to add to this topic? No.
I am done.
I have a question. In the past 10 years, how many loans of $1 million lei have you, your wife, or both of you made?
This is the only loan in 2021.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah, Tatiana.
Greetings, Mr. Agaki. I would like to clarify. You decided to give a loan to a company. Yes, exactly. Did you check what's the economic condition of that company? Don't they have any money laundering criminal case? Will the company be able to reimburse you that amount? Because now you're saying you had no relationship with them, but did you check that information about them or not? Partially, yes. But I speak about something else. This is a trust relationship. What trust? Do you know the founders, the stakeholders, the staff? The founder and the manager of the company. I mean, the founder and the manager is my neighbor, and that's enough.
Any other questions by anyone else? Yeah, Victoria, go ahead.
Sorry, I have one. So if I understand now, at the end of 2020, you now claim you had $1 million lei that carried over into 2022. That still is 900,000 lei less than the loan that you and your wife gave, the loans you and your wife gave to the company. Where did the other 900,000 lei come from?
So that's the loan that I personally offered, my own money. That is the thing declared by the loan offered by my wife was money gathered by my wife during her work.
Okay, and you hadn't declared any savings, you hadn't declared those savings for your wife in any of your declarations?
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
You didn't declare them, correct?
Da.
Yes. Just to make it clear, your wife's income in 2021 was 179,000 lei. And in all the tables we provided you, you also have at least some minimum expense, the average consumption expense. So your wife's income in 2021 doesn't cover 900,000 lei, and you did not declare savings. So where's the money coming from? I did not declare savings, but these are my wife's savings. I think I made an omission. I was not attentive enough. And that's the reason why all these discrepancies and unclarity happened. That's all.
No further questions on this issue. Then, Fideli, please go ahead with the next issue. Yeah, go ahead.
Greetings, Ms. Agaki. Next, I would like us to talk about two issues, two cars that you used to own. The first one is a BMW 520DX Drive, make year 2015. According to Access Web information, you owned the mentioned car between 28th of May 2020 until 1st of July 2022. In your 2020-2021 declarations submitted to the Commission, you declared that you purchased that car in 2020 for 70,000 lei, about 3,500 euros. According to 999.md platform, such a car of that model in June 2023 were being sold for 20,990 euros, which is about 400,000 lei. In essence, that would mean it's 5 times higher than the price you mentioned in the contract and in your declarations for 2020 and 2021. In your 2022 declaration submitted to the Commission, you did not declare any income from selling that car on 1st of July 2022. In the written communication, the Commission asked you to provide a copy of a sale purchase contract for that car in 2020 and sale in 2022. You replied that you did not keep a copy of the contracts of 2020 and 2022 because the agreements stay with the buyer. The Commission also asked you to explain the difference between the declared purchase price in your declaration and the market price. You said that the difference between the declared purchase price and the market price is due to the unsatisfactory condition of the car. You also asked to explain why you did not declare the income obtained from selling this car in 2022 and whether you filed an income tax return with a tax service to pay the capital gain tax as a result of the sale of the car. You replied that you did not submit any income statement to the STS because you did not obtain any income from the sale of the car. In the second round of questions, you asked to explain in detail the condition of the car when you bought it and when you sold it, and to provide confirmation documents, and to mention the price for which you sold the car in July 2022. You replied that the price was set by you and the sellers, natural persons, depending on several objective factors at that time, such as the damaged condition of the car and other aspects, but mostly it was because the car was damaged or in an unsatisfactory condition. You did not provide any other explanation or documents to confirm your response. Regarding the selling price in 2022, you said that it was the same value, 70,000 lei, because you did not manage to remove all the defects that the car had. That's why you established an affordable price for both parties. I'd like to mention that the Commission did not get any confirmation documents. You said that you would like to point out that you did not keep supporting documents. That's why you could not provide them. But the original sale contract is kept with the Public Services Agency, and that's why that calmed you down, that you don't have to hold it. According to the sale contract provided by the Public Services Agency, on 20th of May 2020, you purchased a BMW 520DX Drive for 70,000 lei, which is about 3,546 euros, and you sold it on 1st of July 2022 for the amount of 300,000, which is about 15,000 euros, which means that the discrepancy, well, this situation, the difference between these amounts is like 4 times higher than the purchase price. According to State Tax Service, you did not submit any income tax return in order to pay the capital gain tax in 2022. You also provided untrue information to the Commission when you replied to the second round of questions, when you stated that the sale price was the same as the purchase price, 70,000. So please confirm that you declared that you bought this car in 2020 for 70,000 lei, and sold it in 2022 for the same amount. I confirm that it was purchased for 70,000 indeed, but given that the contract, I see now the amount of 300,000, I need to find out what is the real situation. Your answer is accepted, but I am speaking about the period of interaction with the Commission, that when we have in written communication, you declared what I said, that the car was purchased in 2020 for 70,000, and then in 2022 it was sold for the same amount. This is what you declared, correct? Additionally, please confirm that the Commission did not receive any contract, not the sale, not the purchase contract. Yes. Please confirm that you explained and declared that the purchase price was so low compared to the market price when we asked you, because of a technical condition or poor condition of a car. In this case, this is probably a sale-purchase contract when we got to that price. Now I cannot make any other statements what is written in the contract, so because there are two parties, I, the buyer, and the seller. Undoubtedly, but Mr. Agachi, I'm asking about something else. We, as a reference, offered you a price from that specialized website, and we asked you about the difference, and then you said that the negotiated price was also due to the conditions. So now I would like you to confirm that that was your answer when you were asked about it. Yes. Thank you. Please confirm that you never explained what was the exact, the precise technical problem, and you never provided any document. Not even now, I can't provide a precise explanation even now. I never did an official repair work on the car. So, well, that's a topic that's mostly applicable for men, and you should remember. What exactly had to be repaired or renovated? Do you remember? What were deficiencies? I mean, how much did the repairs cost, no matter where? I don't remember. Please confirm that you never paid capital gain tax once you sold the car in 2022. The information, well, the State Tax Service has the information. If it shows I did not pay, it means I did not. Precisely, but also when we asked you during the question round, you previously confirmed so that no declaration, no income tax return was filed and no tax paid. The biggest unclarity, and please intervene here, I want to understand precisely why this happened. Could you please explain the Commission? Please explain why did you state that you sold the car for 70,000, while the contract at the Public Services Agency mentions a different amount? It's hard for me to explain. I don't want to seem too persuasive, but we need to reach a conclusion, and we need to understand what your position is. That's the purpose of a hearing. Was that an omission, or you don't recognize the contract? You don't admit. What's your position? Why did that happen? I cannot give an answer now. I cannot give a precise answer now. But that is very important for us as Commission member. I agree. I will not persuade into that. Your answer is accepted. Given the complexity of this issue, would you like to add anything specific additionally? No. Another vehicle, BMW 320D, manufacture year 2001. That was also a topic that we discussed previously, and it should be familiar to you. According to information on Access Web, your wife owned a BMW 320D car manufactured in 2001. So she owned it between April 24, 2016 until 9th of October 2019. During that period, you had the right to use the car. In the 2018 declaration submitted to the Commission, you declared that in 2016 your wife purchased that car for 10,000 lei, around 453 euros. In your 2019 declaration, you did not declare any income obtained by your wife from selling the car, which took place on 9th of October 2019. In the written communication with the Commission, you explained that your wife did not obtain any income, and for that reason, she did not have to pay capital gain tax, and she did not. According to information on 999.md platform, specialized website, cars of this model in June 2023, 7 years later than your wife bought the car, are assessed around 1.5 thousand euros, which is approximately 27 to 30,000 lei. These amounts we found on the website show a discrepancy compared to the purchase price. The difference is double. Could you ask to explain the difference between the declared purchase price and the market price? You replied that the difference was due to the unsatisfactory condition of the car. You stated that you'd send the sale purchase contract for the BMW on 24th of April 2016, but you did not submit it. You mentioned that the sale contract of 2019 was not kept. According to the sale contract provided by the Public Services Agency of 9th of October 2019, your wife sold the BMW for 10,000 lei, estimated 453 euros. The Commission also asked you to explain in detail the condition of a car at the time it was purchased by your wife and at the time it was sold, and also to provide confirmation documents. You explained that the contract price was dictated by the condition of the car and negotiation between the parties. You also mentioned that the technical condition of the car was poor because of a year of manufacture, long time of the car being used, and some repairs necessary for the engine and other parts. You also explained that while using the car, it was permanently breaking down and that you were losing time and expenses. That's why selling the car at the same price as the purchase price was even welcome and justified. According to Article 4, Paragraph 1, letter A, the subjects of declaration shall declare income gained by the subject of declaration together with their family members or cohabitant in the previous year. Therefore, you had the obligation to declare the income your wife obtained from the sale of a car in 2019 annual declaration submitted to the Commission. Please confirm that you declared that your wife bought this car in 2016 for 10,000 lei and sold it in 2019 for the same amount. Exactly. Also, please confirm that you did not provide any copy of the sale purchase contracts. Yes. Please confirm that. Do you confirm the hypothesis or the explanation that the purchase price was so low compared to the market price because of the very poor technical condition of it? And I explained that previously. Year of manufacture, long-term expectation. Yes, yes. Question similar as in the previous issue. What exactly needed to be repaired? What were the deficiencies about that car? Saying that it was in a very poor condition is very mild. On the outside, it looked like a car, but while using it, capital repair of the engine, if I'm using the right wording. After that, we found out that the technical condition of the car was so bad, even it was worth much less than 10,000 euros. Did you have any attempts to repair the car? If you tried to repair it, please explain. We did repair. You repaired it once, the second time when it broke down, and so on. Specifically, what repairs and how much did it cost? I can't say now exactly what, but it was, the expenses were big enough. Do you have an explanation? How was it possible to sell a car in such a poor condition? Very, very easy. There are people who are looking for a car. I apologize. The question is a bit in another direction, so please, may I finish it? My question was, how was it possible for a car in such a bad condition as you describe it? 3 years after purchase by your wife, to be sold for the same price as purchased. I'm explaining, it's very simple. It's a car, similarly to the other car, XC90. Those were two cars that needed repairs, and I did not how to get rid of them, actually. I think you understand me. Sometimes you are lucky and you get a good car, and sometimes you get bad luck. Accepted answer. We discussed previously that no income was declared in 2019, and I read the legal provision that obliges you to do so. Could you please explain why the income that was obtained was not reported in the 2019 declaration? I might have missed that. Negligent on my side.
You've already practically answered this. You said why it was bought for the same price, and sold for the same price that it was bought. But I would like to ask you again: did you pay capital gain tax after you sold it, after you sold that car? Out of the information that I have, I can say that not, I didn't. Is there anything additional for you to say? Nothing to add.
Any of the colleagues have any other additional questions to the candidate? If that is not the case, then I would like to give you an opportunity to make a brief closing statement to the Commission. Please go ahead.
I would like to thank the Commission for the attention, for the provided support. I would like to wish you the best of luck and to have great accomplishments. Thank you very much. That was all.
Thank you. With that, we come to the end of the hearing. I thank the candidate for being here with us this afternoon. The Commission will now withdraw for deliberations, and as much as possible, it will strive at delivering a decision within a month after the date of this hearing. I hereby declare this hearing closed. Thank you very much.
Mulțumesc.